This is a real treasure of a book, and for $20, it is a bargain. This is amazing. Okay, so I did a little short on this, unboxing it. I neglected to show the whole author's names, so there we go. This is Postals from Wonderland, Yellowstone Postcard Messages by Susan and Jack Davis. Now, I found this book through watching Wichita Postcard Club videos. They had a little interview with this couple, and they said they're from Bozeman and a fellow Montana place, and they have been collecting postcards for years. And look at this quote. This is what started it all. I am beginning to feel like an Alice in Wonderland, and that's Celia, 1910. So it's in color. I mean, postcard books should be in color, right? They had talked about the work that they put into this book. They had hundreds of postcards to go through. Susan actually went through and transcribed all these messages onto sticky notes onto the back so that they could understand what they're saying. And if you have ever tried to read the messages on the back of postcards, sometimes it's really difficult. The writing, look at that Yellowstone Park postcard. I have not seen that one yet. The bears, feeding the bears. Don't feed the bears anymore. They don't do that anymore. The Baker bears. Being a Montanan, and Yellowstone Park is basically a long day trip for me. I like to specialize in Montana. Technically, Yellowstone is mostly in Wyoming, but we're not going to split hairs here, are we? But just seeing these gorgeous layouts and the messages, there's so much to read here because they go through different places. That was Roosevelt Arch, and they even talk about Teddy Roosevelt and the history, a little bit of each, and then all of these postcard messages of people from there. And so they'll go here's Mammoth Hot Springs, and so on. It's just gorgeous, and you can see the texture on the images, a white border, because it is blown up. Yeah, that's a white border, that's dots. But you can see the texture of the postcards. It's excellent images. And then you get some really interesting real photo images like that of the soldiers. This is one of those books that you need to get yourself a cup of tea, sit down and absorb it. And I don't think you can absorb it all at once because there are so many neat messages in here. Let me just read a couple for you. Here's one from Mammoth Hot Springs at Roosevelt Lodge. We will soon leave Camp Roosevelt. This camp is more of a rest camp. Very woodsy. 4 bears and an elk have been hanging around all morning. I did fed 2 of the bears raisins from my hand. Don't try that at home or in Yellowstone. The elk stuck his head in our tent door. Sarah. Here's one of somebody who just had seen Old Faithful. I've lost my heart to this beautiful geyser. It's the loveliest thing I've seen in the park, and today we take our last ride, coming back to where we started and taking train for Salt Lake. Reach there 7:30 a.m. Friday, FMD. Now remember, I don't know if you remember, but I had that photo, I think it was of Salt Lake City, the gateway to Yellowstone, and I was like, that's not what I would think of the gateway. But here, I think the trains left for Yellowstone from Salt Lake, and they took a lot of tourists with them. So there's so much history in just little nuggets of postcards, because sometimes you just catch that little tiny detail in a postcard and go, wait, what does that mean? And I think people preserve postcards more than they preserve letters because they're just little pieces of art. And it's beyond a letter. I think it's very interesting. And here's one from the fishing cone. On this rock, one can fish in a very cold lake, then throw the line and fish into the boiling pool in the center and boil the fish. Only it is forbidden. We saw this. Now, side note, there was a little tongue-in-cheek thing that says, a reminder at Thanksgiving that you can't boil your turkey in the fishing cone. You actually could, and it would boil. The reason why they stopped doing that is because of cruelty to the fish, because they were being boiled alive. So, yeah. And then they do subjects too, like the bears and the wildlife, stagecoaches. There used to be lots of stagecoaches that were taken to Yellowstone. Yeah, just there's so much treasures. It's just filled and filled with pages of messages, and these are ones that they carefully curated out of hundreds and maybe thousands of them. Oh, they even have like Charles Russell on there. There's many of them that they left out, and I don't know, maybe they have enough for another book, because this is really gorgeous. I will put links below of how to find this book if you're interested in. To me, it just touches my heart because it's postcards and local things. They did say that they have donated a collection of postcards to a center in Gardner, which is at one of the west entrances to Yellowstone. I think it might be hard to get there right now because, the flooding effects, and I think that gate is closed, but make plans next time to go to that and see their collection. So hopefully you enjoyed this little peek at this book. I've only read a few pages of it. This is one that just takes a little while to absorb. But it's that little piece of the past coming alive again. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a joyful day. Goodbye.